rough estimate of the compass location. So I think a lot of people have made a guess already. So we've had 18 guesses so far. So
Hmm.
RC, talk me through. Um, this loads up. You've got 30 seconds to guess. Talk me through your process of making a guess here. What would be your first thing to do?
Right. So biggest thing obviously is the car down below. So we have the white car in the front and then the bars that are connected together. Um, that little black thing, I don't really know what it is, but yeah, that's typical for the Dominican Republic.
Okay,
So you'll see that in every single Dominican Republic location. And so once you go into the Dominican Republic,
so let's load
the
that up, which is
yeah,
here. Yeah.
the thing is, the Dominican Republic only has coverage in two cities, so
Right.
Santo Domingo and Santiago de los Caballeros. So that already makes it so much easier to guess, and that really kind of can be like, wow, how did you know that it was exactly this city? Well, it could only be one of two cities.
Okay.
And so, don't really have any clues here, but I would say based off of the lack of mountains and it's like just slightly hilly, I would go just north of Santo Domingo.
Okay. So just north, and then we'll say. So probably in 30 seconds, you probably not got a chance to look for like a business name or something. But let's say
Yeah,
you were being very very quick, or you had a more amount of time. I guess potentially these kind of businesses would be listed here, and the Destiny nightclub maybe that's listed. So these could be things that you could look for if you're going to go for like a 25k.
yeah, exactly. And
Yes.
then also that road to the east is a pretty big road from the looks of it. So you could maybe try and use that. So you see you have a big north-south road.
Yeah.
Use the angle of that road, and then obviously we're just slightly to the west of it. So, when if you're trying to pinpoint it, then you could use that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That kind of makes sense. So I'm just going to drop a guess. It certainly could be better, but we're just kind of working with what we've got at the moment. So we got that within 6 miles. So yeah, 100% obviously we're in the right location. We used the car as kind of the set point to get us off there, and obviously some of the other information there to help kind of drive the location. The coverage came into play there, and then obviously the angles that you were talking about also factored in a little bit there as well. That could have helped you get a potential 25k there. So we can see that plenty of people entered. Simraj was the person who got the closest. Mork and Walden Knight were up there. Plenty of people got it. A lot of people remember or know about the white car meta. Um, so let's have a look at some of the people who didn't get those. So not guess shaming here at all, because to be honest, I thought Guat when we started, but this is a classic example about knowing about where the cars are, right? So a similar looking country, which is Guatemala, um, has a similar barred car, but it's different enough where you can pinpoint between the two. You said about
Yeah.
it's a white car with
Those, yeah, those are just kind of things you gotta learn when
yeah,
you see them. So, yeah, the white car with the bars, they're like stuck together. Meanwhile, Guatemala has no front, but you can see the rear view mirrors, and obviously it has the bars as well.
yeah. So yeah, that little piece of information can help you go from getting a 2,000 point guess. I think this is what you probably get for this. Oh no, 1,500. So that can take you can go from 1,500 points to well getting up 4,900 plus, knowing the coverage in the car, and that can make a huge amount of difference when you're doing a challenge or something like that. So a few factors that went into play there. My immediate thoughts, I immediately go uh, America, but that might not be right. So how would you help determine this place? What's your first thoughts when you come into this?
USA
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, definitely USA, I think. And you can tell that based off the yellow lines in the center with the white on the outside. which you can
Also,
find in other countries, but along with that, we do have the
yeah,
English. So
and we have the English. We have the American style truck, pickup truck. We have open mailboxes that are pretty much typical North American,
Yep.
yeah,
And
and
and of course, big USA flag right there.
yeah, which is
yeah,
quite
and
typical of America,
an
right?
advanced matter is if you know. I mean, that's one of the easiest ones, but if you know US states license plates, then you see it's yellow, it's bright yellow. That should be New York. I mean, Alaska has that too, but that is definitely no northern landscape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
And obviously, for a more basic, we've got obviously the driving on the right. And I mean, is there anything else here? I think there's like some. There's the name of a cemetery here. Oswegatchie Cemetery is an interesting name.
If you have
Um,
much time, you recognize it's New York State. You can maybe even 5K that, but with 30 seconds,
yeah, you're going to
it's
struggle a
not
little bit
possible.
with that. And obviously, we've got the sun here as well. That helps factor it in. So we're going to say sort of the New York. So New York is. So this is where my knowledge falls apart. It's not just a city, but it's a state, isn't it? Right?
Yeah,
And we're
yeah.
talking.
And New
Yeah,
York City isn't
Yeah,
even the capital of New York
yeah.
State.
So we're talking very much about the state. So in terms of is this called what's this? What's the American term for this? Is this an intersection? Is
Uh,
that right?
mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay,
intersection or junction usually.
junk. Yeah. So we're at some sort of intersection, so you could factor that in to where you guess. Where do you like me to click? Any particular place that comes to mind with this at all?
I
I
guess
think,
in the more northern upstates parts,
yeah,
but that can be also misleading. It could be just south of the lake, but yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
maybe somewhere over there. Yeah,
let's go. Just we'll plunk it down here, see what we get. And we were 41 miles away, so pretty close. And let's have a look at how other people did. So GeoWizard's attorney actually. I mean, I didn't realize GeoWizard's attorney also played GeoGuess. That's quite impressive. So Leoto with the 449 there, very very close. And yeah, the descriptors were completely right. It was northern New York. We were at the Oswegatchie saga. Obviously, this helps determine that the cemetery is listed there. So if you're moving around, that would have helped out. Hugo coming second, and CXP 34 really good guess as well. So I think a couple people went for Sim. Sim went with the Alaska guess. So I think she was using that license plate,
I think that was just for the lulz.
or oh, okay, or for
yeah,
the
maybe.
loss,
Yeah,
maybe.
because 2 days
Hopefully.
ago she had Alaska versus New York toss-up location on her stream.
Oh, okay, right, sure. um, well, joke or not, it was really good. I mean, so obviously a few things factoring in there. I think that one was quite easy to determine the country. You got the flag in there, you've got the roadside, so on and so forth. But again, those tiny little details really help pull through. So the license plate really helping there. And then a little bit of knowledge about what the kind of area looks like as well, which is far harder to get. But if you knew about the license plate and you found the
If
flag and
narrowing down, yeah, if you know the license plate, narrowing down it in the respective state is pretty easy,
yeah,
I'd say. But a whole lot of the US, especially in the Midwest and in especially in the cities of the Midwest, it looks so repetitive and the same. You could be in a southern Texas town that has nice planted trees, but it looks like South Dakota, for
yeah,
example.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sort of America, a difficult one to get good points on when you've got sort of short time frames. Moving around can help, but yeah, not the easiest place to guess in the world. So those little details can really make a difference. So so we're looking around here, pretty kind of a normal sort of location, nothing too crazy, and then there's this in the sky, a sort of a portal opening up to another dimension. All right, Kurt, we're opening the guesses up for 5 seconds. Right, guys, what is in the sky? Talk me through what we're looking at here.
You want to do that, Rado?
Sure. Yeah, this is something we GeoGuessr players like to call a rift. Not entirely sure why they happen, but they do occasionally happen, most oftenly in two countries. Those are Albania and Senegal,
That's in
which are,
Europe.
yeah,
We
they're
also
pretty
have
easy
those
to
in
tell
Senegal.
apart. Yeah, they're Senegal and Albania though are pretty easy to tell apart.
Yeah.
You would hope so. Um, basically, it narrows you down to one country here, which is Albania. And along with that, we also have the cars, which have a specific license plate. Um, basically, cars in Albania have blue on both sides of the plate, and that
Either
only
that or on
happens.
the left side a red strip.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
old plates from like 90s cars and before have the red strip on the plate,
so
as you can see there.
this is really interesting. So you've got a red strip here, yeah, on this car, and then you've got the double strip here. Um, so quick question: is do you find the rift in Montenegro as well, or is it exclusively Albania, or is it really rare to find in Montenegro? What's going on with that?
Both in Montenegro and Albania, but coastal Montenegro doesn't have rifts.
Interesting.
Inland
Yeah,
Montenegro every time has a rift.
some sometimes it can be a little tough to like decide between the two, but if you have a car, try and look out for the plates, and that can be a lot
And
more help.
Yeah.
if you wanna determine if you're in Albania or Montenegro because of the rift, look out for old Mercedes.
Yeah. So I think it was Top Gear I was watching where they mentioned that the percentage it's like 80+% of cars in Albania are Mercedes. I don't quote me on that, but I just remember hearing that and thinking I need to ask Kurt about that immediately. So we're thinking Albania with this guess. Anywhere in
I think
particular?
Kurt has a Mercedes, personally.
Where would you guys plonk this one down? What do you reckon?
I had no idea where in the country. I just
Yeah,
somewhere in
kind of
the
tough to
capital.
tell. Kind of
Okay.
tough to tell because Albania is so small, just
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle.
Well, we love
And you're sure to get 4.5, 4.3k points there.
we love Rana, so we'll go there. But yep, so Rift's really interesting. It seems like it's maybe where it's failed to like stitch part of the pictures together or something. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I guess what causes that.
Yeah, or the 360 camera has such problems. I have no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, we even though actually it feels like we're quite far away. It was only 30 miles, and that still gives us 4,800 points, which is a decent amount. An easy country to guess. So yeah, the rifts tell you so much, but obviously on top of that, you've got some extra information that does certainly help as well. So
Hey,
let's.
look, Ben, you're such a pro. You're just 1 point behind of me.
Oh my god! How this? All thanks to this podcast, I would never been able to do it.
Podcast is genius.
So well done to Simi beating Kurt in his own country. Politics is up there as well. So here's the meme. Did anyone go for Senegal? No, they didn't. Okay, so we all had like a good guess on there. So people guessing outside of Albania. Hopefully you picked something up there with the rift. This is more information that we'll look to cover in further detail in episodes where we're covering Europe as a continent and to help point these kind of things out. But you kind of
Interesting enough, we have no Montenegro guess.
yeah, not a single one.
Yeah,
The closest was Mort, but he wasn't over the border. So yeah. So I hope hopefully you're getting a little bit of an idea of the things to check for and keep in mind when you're making your guesses. So let's move on to the fourth round. So I think the first thing I noticed then, so from a conversation earlier, this is a Gen 2 camera. Am I right?
Exactly.
yeah.
There you go. And the key point to that obviously is the whopping great bloody halo. Thanks for the follow, Taboo.
Alongside with the huge car blur down,
Yeah.
which in Generation 3 only Japan and Switzerland have.
Okay, so that's a big factor. Now, that doesn't actually make it that much easier to place a guess if you don't know the generation coverage, because I have no idea. That would only tell me that it is Gen 2. It wouldn't actually help for me personally place a guess down. So obviously, what would you? Does the Gen 2 here make a big difference, or is here kind of it's less important?
For me, definitely it makes a difference because, as the sun tells you, you're definitely in the northern hemisphere. So it's not the usual South Africa country, for example, where you have ubiquitous Generation 2. And along with the road sign that has a special style with the lighter red border, kind of worn down, this
Yeah,
one, but
it's
it's
a
not
bit battered. Yeah,
usual. In my opinion, that can only be two countries. No, just one country, sorry, because the other country has a yellow road sign. It can only be France.
only France. Interesting. RC, any extras to add on to that, or are you kind of on the same thought process there?
Yep, I agree. I think the vegetation definitely looks Mediterranean, and Gen 2 is pretty common in France, so
You could
I'm
have a Generation 2 in Spain as well, but the style of the road sign isn't correct because Spain doesn't have a white outer border. Spain has red alongside all of the borders.
Interesting. Okay, and then obviously the side of no other cars here. Which way are we going? We're a big blur
Yeah,
down here.
right side drive.
Right side drive because of the road sign, so that helps a little bit as well. So we're saying France. Now, is this going to be more? Am I right in saying this is more southern France?
Yeah.
Right. And
yes.
whereabouts would you plonk a guess? Where do you reckon we should go?
Probably like
I
even closer to the coast, maybe. I don't think it's too far away.
could be close to the coast, I guess, in between the coast and Clermont-Ferrand, because there are rolling hills there, but you can see that all by looking in the map and judging by those things we talked about earlier, the elevation
Where's
changes in
that?
the maps.
Where's whereabouts is that?
Um, Slightly north in the middle of the two green parts,
The two
there
green
is that one
parts.
town.
What here?
And there's the Clermont-Ferrand town, and I guess pretty much in between the coast
Oh,
and that
here we
town.
go. Classic. I knew it was that. I was just
But
I
could be
was,
wrong, could be very close to the coast, could be even Corsica, but don't think so
Yeah,
because there are no
I even
lanzarotes.
I even thought about Corsica as
Me
well.
as well, yeah, yeah.
interesting. Right, let's plonk it down. See where we get. Ah, okay, interesting. So, yeah, it was here. This
This was the
this
other one.
this location. So, yeah. So, I mean, in terms of the information that we used, it kind of whittled it down. But again, you've still got an element of you've got an element of luck in your guessing, so you can obviously help pinpoint it, but you're not always going to get 100% every time. Even though GeoGuessr might do, as some people have pointed out. The wonderful Kurt YN did get the closest. Let's have a look at the overall scores. So, I mean, looking back, is there anything that you think we might have missed or anything, or is this just kind of one of those things?
I think Nighty might need to review his signs a little. Me as well, maybe. But other than
No,
that,
those signs are common in France as well. They're not the Italian. Also, it looked like a typical Generation 2 sign in Europe. So, yeah, Italy, of course, also has Generation 2
Yep.
camera. But I personally disregarded Italy as a whole because I didn't think of Sardinia at all.
Yep.
And Sardinia is just one of that weird spots. Either you get it spot on or you're just away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I think personally, I would have gone Greece. Just because I don't know, just reminds me of
Greece has yellow road signs.
yellow road signs. So yeah, that's the factor. So again, some of the factors helping you like nail it down, some of the meta, some of the knowledge about countries and stuff. But sometimes it does come down to making a crazy guess. So yeah, that's an interesting one. So that is a pretty difficult guess. As you can see, the drop off in scores is quite gradual as people guessing all different places around Europe. Pretty interesting. So I think we're onto the last round here. Now this, I'm just going to go. I'm going to come straight out the bat with it. With my noob interpretation of what we're looking at. Is this a Gen 2 or Germany style camera or not, or is it just because it's a little bit darker that
Yes.
it is?
Yeah, you can see a ring on the top and on the bottom. Then I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like
And the
once you
camera is
start,
is a bit more
yeah,
sad, not a saturated Gen 2, but
grayish.
yeah.
Yeah,
Spitz is a sad camera. Okay. Okay, so that pinpoints us to. Am I right in saying Germany? Is that agreed?
yes,
Hmm.
Okay, and then obviously this is quite a difficult location, I guess, in terms of there's no road signs or anything particular we can get like a location from.
We have street signs, and in Germany, you can oftentimes determine the city by the street signs.
Okay.
And that one not saturated street sign on the left of that one looks like a white one,
Okay.
white road sign.
White road
Yeah,
sign.
yeah, here
Interesting.
by the garbage can
Yeah. Okay.
where you've
Interesting.
seen it before. And white road signs in Germany almost always means Berlin.
Right in.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Blimey.
I use one other thing um, to try and figure out where in Germany it is. On the car just to the south of us, there's actually you can see just a little bit of the license plate, and I think you can kind of make out a B on there.
Oh yeah. So
And
this one down here. Yeah.
On
yeah,
the left
right
side.
there. If you can, if you know a little bit about German license plates, then you'll know that they're the first letter or this it's either like one letter or two letters or three letters depending on how large the city is, but the letter stands for like which city you're in. So B is obviously Berlin.
Right. Okay. So
It's the
it's
same in Switzerland, Austria, and Romania.
Yeah,
interesting.
Romania as well.
Fascinating. Okay. So Germany it is, and then obviously two key factors there that might have been difficult to get in 30 seconds, but entirely possible if you've got that mindset of what do I need to find out where I am. And maybe would it be fair to say that once you've kind of established, okay, European Gen 2, are you immediate in 30 seconds? Are you going to look for that starting letter in the license plate and the sign being? Do you think you guys would pick those up in 30 seconds?
With those clues on that location, yes, I would have figured it out for
Okay.
Berlin.
So yeah, entirely possible to do if you've got that mindset. And I guess what we're talking about again, freeing up time by being able to like immediately recognize where we could be based on some factors to then use the smaller details to kind of pinpoint. So we're saying Berlin, and it was in fact Berlin, 7 miles away. We got 90, obviously very very close. We went almost to the same place actually. It's interesting. Um, so let's have a look at the scores. How many people picked up on that? A decent amount. Obviously, a lot of people getting Germany. And I think it just came down to which city you guessed. I know everyone's a big fan of Dortmund. A couple of people over here as well. A couple in Cologne. Apparently, I don't know if that's how you say it or not, but I saw.
And many cities in Germany also have blue street signs, but with different fonts. So if you have enough German locations during your geographic career, you can also make out those.
Yeah, brilliant. I think we all had a read on it being, European. I think that was immediately obvious. But again, like, if you did guess, let's say you guessed Hungary, um, you're putting in 3,500 points, not bad. If you're pulling in Germany, and if you're pulling in Berlin specifically, you're getting those top tier points, which is it's going to help you get an extremely high score. and the information's there. It's not luck all the time. You can pinpoint stuff off these very highly specific things, and that's what we're hoping to try and establish with the podcast, help you kind of pick up information. I've actually learned a disgusting amount of information tonight.